Healing from abuse feels dang near impossible. We're told to suck it up, get over it. We're just exaggerating, and that if it was really that bad, we should have just left. We carry this belief that we deserved what happened and that it was our fault. The truth? That's all garbage. My name is Carly Saunders, and as an abuse recovery coach, I'm here to call out the BS and finally change the narrative around surviving abusive relationships. How? By providing you with the knowledge you need to heal, build the skill of confidence, and finally see just how freaking worthy you are. This is the Confidence from the Ground Up podcast, and I'm so glad you're here.
Can you believe that it is almost 2022? I don't even know how to process that information. I don't even think I've had a chance to process it just because things have been so busy, either with work or with, just mom life, getting ready to move. Things are insane, and it's just my brain, y'all, my brain. But aside from that, what I wanted to talk about today is the thing that everybody's talking about right now, and that is goals for 2022. And specifically, I want to talk about the goals that you have for your recovery journey. And this is such a double-edged sword because it absolutely is a good thing. Like, I want you to set goals for your recovery journey. I want you to decide that 2022, if it's your time, like, this is not pressure to, this is just like my encouragement. Like, I want you to decide that 2022 is your year to heal. But if you're not careful, you're going to set goals that measure the wrong thing. And when you set goals that measure the wrong thing, you're going to end up beating yourself up because you're not going to be able to get there. Or you're not going to get there in the time. Or it's just kind of impossible. And the reason that I bring this up is not to be discouraging, but because this whole healing process takes forever. It is frustrating. It is uncomfortable. It feels like we are going 5 steps forward and 100 steps back, and eventually it feels like we're just never going to make progress. So why freaking bother? And look, I 100% get it. But if you measure the right things, if you can shift your thoughts, if you can open your mind to recognizing certain pieces of growth, you're going to see that you're actually healing at a faster rate than you thought possible. So, how do you do that? What goals do you set for your recovery? How do you choose recovery in 2022? Number 1, do not say, I'm going to be healed by May, or I'm going to be out by the end of 2022. I'm going to be completely healed and this is never going to be an issue. I hate to break it to you, and I hate to be the one to say this to you, but unfortunately, you're never going to be completely free, completely over it, completely away from all of these thoughts and these struggles. And that sucks to say as much as it sucks to hear. And it's not fair because we didn't ask for these things to happen to us. We did not ask for these people to hurt us. And I understand that. And I'm not trying to make light of that at all. But when we are dealing with our brain, we have to be patient and we have to realize that our brains are going to heal the way that they're going to heal, but we probably are going to still have certain struggles. Like, I am about 3 years, 2 years, 2.5, 3 years into this journey, and I still have pretty big triggers. I still have my struggles. As we go along this journey, you're still going to have struggles. And there's going to be things that you're never going to quite 100% get over. But the beauty of healing is that you're going to be able to live your life and you're going to be able to turn the volume down on those thoughts. And you're going to be able to experience that freedom And that's not complete freedom from the triggers and the struggles, but it's freedom from how they control you. Because they're still going to scream and cry and throw a fit, but you don't have to listen to them anymore, and that's the beauty of it. So how do you measure? What do you measure? The first thing that I want you to start out with is I want you to measure your actions and not the output of those actions. And measuring actions instead of measuring your input versus the output, that's a better way of saying it, would be saying, okay, every day for the next 30 days, I'm going to write down 5 things that I'm grateful for. At the end of those 30 days, you don't know where your head is going to be. Like, there's no measurable way for you to say, I'm going to be in this headspace by this time. But you can focus on doing 5 pieces of gratitude every day for 30 days. That's your measurable goal. So that way, at the end of the 30 days, you can look back and see that you did 5 things every day. And that feels like it's too small. It feels like it's not enough. It's like, no, I need to do something more. I need to do something bigger. But I want you to imagine that you did something like that every single month for the entirety of 2022. Yeah, right? Like, when you think of the cumulative effect of that, that is so incredibly powerful. So imagine that your goal was to do 5 pieces of gratitude every day for 30 days. And then the next 30 days, you added on 5 victories. Because now the gratitude's already feeling like a habit. Your brain's already in that good place, so you want to hold on to that. You don't want to stop doing it. And so for the first 30 days, you do gratitude. And then for the second 30 days, you add on your little victories. And you start recognizing how much you show up for yourself. And you start recognizing how much you show up in the world, right? And all of these things that you do and how proud of yourself you are. So by the end of the second 30 days, you've done 60 days of gratitude, and you've done 30 days of victories. And the next 30 days, you start really honing in on self-care versus taking care of yourself. So that at the end of that 30 days, you have 30 days of really going over and above for your self-care, but you're also meeting your needs every single friggin' day. And you've got 60 days of victories. And at this point, you've got 90 days of gratitude. Like, are you beginning to see the magic here? When you measure your input versus the output of that input, that sounds so weird to say, but whatever. You begin to see things differently, and you take the pressure off yourself. Our brains already have a ton thrown at them. Aside from the fact that these people did things to us, we beat up on ourselves on a regular basis because our standards for ourselves are so much higher than the standards we have for everyone else. And when we don't meet our unrealistic standards, we beat up on our brain. And our poor brain is over there in the corner shivering and crying. And the last thing the shivering and crying brain in the corner needs is more pressure to meet some arbitrary, unmeetable goal. So measure your input versus the output. Measure what you are doing versus the outcome of what you're doing. I really hope that makes sense. So the second way that you can set goals for your recovery journey is 2022 is to pick a project with a deadline. And again, this is measuring your specific input, not your output. So what I mean by project is you're going to complete this thing by this date. It's not the output. You're just going to do the actions to complete this thing. So this thing could be, like, let's use Worthy of Recovery, for example. This is my 30-day journal for survivors. It's available on Worthy Apparel and Merchandise. Go to carlylyn.com/shop so you can check it out. But this is my 30-day journal that combines all of the different pieces that finally helped me find freedom in one place, in one journal. So let's say your project was to complete Worthy of Recovery. Like you say, okay, in the month of February, I want to complete Worthy of Recovery. Well, Worthy of Recovery is 30 days. February is 28 days, but you know what I mean. I want to complete this, and I'm going to do it every single day. That's your project. And when you complete that journal, it's designed in a specific way to help your brain heal and to help unlock certain thoughts and unlock certain beliefs that will help you move forward at a quicker rate, right? But it's not necessarily, do I want you to get the journal? Absolutely. I know that it can absolutely change your life. Carlin.com/shop. But this is just an example of a project. And aside from the fact that you'll have completed Worthy of Recovery and you'll have done all these different pieces and you're going to see progress, right? You're going to have completed a project. And when you complete a project, you're telling your brain, oh my God, we really can do what we set out to do. Maybe when they said that we never finish what we start, they were wrong. Maybe when they said we weren't worth anything, they were wrong. Maybe when they said, maybe I actually am worthy of recovery, of healing, of freedom after all. That is powerful. That project could also be a book that you want to read to move forward. Maybe it's listening to an audiobook. Maybe it is getting an ebook or a physical book. Maybe it is, maybe your project is finding a therapist and you're giving yourself 3 months to try a few different therapists. And you would really like to have a therapist by the end of the 3 months, but you're giving yourself this time. Maybe that's your project. Whatever your project is, the specifics don't matter. It's the fact that you are putting yourself first and you're doing this project for you. Oh, that's something else I should have said. Like when you set this project, this isn't a project for anybody else. And your project is not something where you're kind of putting yourself down. And what I mean by that is if you look in the mirror and you hate yourself and you're poking and prodding, like weight loss is the easiest example to use for this. I hate the term weight loss, but we're just going to roll with it. You're poking and prodding yourself in the mirror and you're like, oh my God, I hate my body. I'm going to lose 50 pounds this year. That's not the project I want you to focus on. The projects that I want you to focus on, especially because you're in recovery, are projects that you do because you love yourself, not because you hate yourself. Now, if you do want to get back in shape because you know that you want to treat your body better, or because you have a specific, like maybe you want to run a marathon, that's totally fine. Like for me, once we move, I'm going to have the gym again. And I want to go back in and work out again. I want to move towards that goal of getting on stage, not because I hate my body. I actually don't mind it. I like the way it looks in clothes. I like the way my butt looks in the mirror, right? Like I'm happy with it. But there's a certain goal that I have, and I know that I'm capable of that goal. I'm not doing it because I hate my body. Does that make sense? I really hope that resonates, because I don't want you to do something that requires you to hate yourself. And I also don't want you to think that you have to do something that is specifically related to recovery. So like I mentioned, I'm going to get back in the gym and I'm going to work back towards my bodybuilding goal, and I have some other mini goals along the way. And that doesn't seem directly related to like healing from abuse, right? But what we don't realize is that when we are victims of abuse, it impacts every single area of our lives. Literally every single area of our lives. And when we try to avoid that, we put all our focus in one specific area without realizing that we have to have a holistic approach. So for me, going towards my bodybuilding goal is healing my relationship with my body. It is helping to, like I said, about finishing the project, right? Telling my brain that I can do it. That's what it is. It's telling my brain that yes, I can. It's telling those voices in my head that yes, I can. It's telling all of those people who told me that I couldn't that yes, I can, and watch me. And that in itself is so healing and it's so powerful. And when you lean into that, it is absolutely incredible. So as you are setting your goals for 2022, have a goal specifically related to recovery in mind, but not necessarily recovery related, right? Like it could be maybe you're healing your relationship with food. Maybe you are healing your relationship with your career. Maybe you're going to start a business. Like whatever it is, may say, okay, this is what I'm doing in 2022 for my healing. And measure your personal input, not the output of your actions. And set a project and complete the project. Show yourself that yes, you can. And I know I mentioned it earlier, but if you're wanting to start the year strong, Worthy of Recovery is the perfect place to start. They are currently on pre-order and I'm going to be shipping them out mid-January. So if you want to get to the front of the line, make sure that yours ships out ASAP. Go to carlylynn.com/shop. That's carlylynn.com/shop. Click the little journal button on the side. Get your pre-order in because this is an excellent way to start the year. Imagine starting your 2022, getting ready, receiving Worthy of Recovery in the mail, and hitting the ground running. Like, I think that is absolutely beautiful. All right, thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I want you to know that I am so incredibly proud of you. And never ever forget that you are strong, you are capable, you are intelligent, and boo, you are so freaking worthy. I love you so much, and we'll talk soon.